What's happening? What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Split the Different podcast. Y'all see, I got a face you don't know sitting to my left. I don't know how it's gonna look on y'all, but to my left, Mr. Anthony Smith. Y'all, let's give him a big applause. He's gonna come on. He's gonna co-host with me today. Rich Rocket had to take a little time off doing some recreational things. Him and his mama, Rich Rocket is a mama voice, so they are out there doing their own thing. I know they probably watching in. We got a great show for you today. We're gonna talk a little bit, get some folks time to come in. Mr. Smith, thank you for coming in with us today, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for the
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah. So this is gonna be real. I know y'all used to an old man and a young man going at each other, but we got two old ones up here today. I was just playing, not too old, but you know what I'm saying. Well, I appreciate you coming out. We got a good story today. Just want to let you know if you want to find us, you can catch us. If you're not on any our platform, Split the Difference 67, we're on YouTube. That's YouTube, Split the Difference 67, or Facebook, Split the Difference 67, TikTok. I think it's Split the Difference Georgia, 67 Georgia, something like that. But you can catch us on there. Um, just want to thank all y'all for coming in. Rich Rocky is usually the one who starts this thing off. He's the one usually doing the fast talking. I'm trying to go at his pace. But for the sake of my old man self, I'm gonna have to slow it down and talk a little slower. I can't talk that fast like I used to. Maybe Mr. Smith over here, he'll fire us up lately. But hey, man, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you coming in at the last minute. You know, we were supposed to get together
A couple of weeks
a
ago.
couple of weeks ago, but we had an ice storm 2 weeks in a row. We just didn't have no ice,
That's right.
you know. But it was here 2 weeks ago. And
And the Super Bowl.
oh yeah, Super Bowl. And you know we weren't coming in for that.
Right.
We love y'all, but and y'all wasn't gonna be watching no way. Everybody was on the Super Bowl. You watched. What you think about that Super Bowl?
It was boring.
It was Super Bowl. What you think about the Bad Bunny or whatever his name was?
I couldn't understand the music.
I, you know, and I didn't want to comment on. I said I guess it was okay if you understood the music. It was classy, but I just don't know. I didn't really get the meaning of it.
Right.
So all right. Well, hey man, we ain't gonna hold y'all long. I guess I will go on with the show. We got a letter come in. We're gonna talk about this a little bit today, and I think I got the right co-host for this. I think the right co-host. So thank y'all if y'all joining in on Mr. Smith page. We appreciate you watching. We're gonna get on into it. Let me get into this letter. Actually, let me put out a disclaimer. This is a guy, and his son is 23 years old. So I'm gonna put that out to you right now. His son is 23 years old. So here's the letter. It says, "I'm Tommy. I'm he must be black. I'm gonna just get straight to it, to the meat of the situation. Here, to be honest, I'm a recovering drug, alcohol addicted. I'm a recovering drug and alcohol addicted. During my times of addiction, I had a child and a good woman. I'm not gonna lie. I was not the best father, or was, or I wasn't a father at all. Actually, but now I'm 5 years sober and I have got my life on a decent path. I realize that having a relationship with my son is one of the most important things in my life. But I struggle with figuring out how to try to get back in his life. And I struggle with thinking, will he even allow me to be in his life? Split the difference. Do you have any suggestions on some ways that I could possibly get back to my son's life? Now, if you haven't read, let me give you what the title is on this thing today. You didn't raise me. Now you want a relationship. And I think this, I'm just gonna say, Smith, this is common, man. This is common.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I always tell people, y'all ask now. So when I give y'all my honest opinion, it is just my opinion, me and Rich Rocket will say it's just for entertainment purposes only. Uh, I think a lot of fathers and mothers go through this thing, man.
Exactly. It's very normal in our community.
Yeah. Uh, and I always tell, I said this guy, I didn't write it, but it could have been my story. My dad was an alcoholic. Uh, Tommy, my dad was an alcoholic. I think him and my mom got a divorce. I think I was in second grade. I can remember them getting divorced, and he did the same thing, man. He did the same thing. He's dead and gone now. But oh, is that Mike John? Oh my God. Uh, Tommy, and we're gonna try to help you through this because there are a lot of men out here. I think Smith that goes through this, and I think my father was one, and I'll talk about his story later. But we're here to help Tommy. That go through stuff, whether it's a divorce
Mhm.
with their parents. But I think men are a little bit different. I feel Tommy don't know what to do. He's saying that his son is telling me he's 23 years old.
Right.
He won't know why you trying to be a part of my life now. I think his dad, Tommy, I think your dad probably wanted to be a part of your life a long time ago. Sometimes life is hard, man.
You're right, and I think you know, and like I say, I resonate with this story as well because my dad was an alcoholic. So
Okay.
and
Oh wow.
yeah,
Wow.
so he sung gospel music.
Okay.
The way my mother explained it, 6 months out of the year he sang gospel.
Okay. Oh wow.
6 months out, he,
Man, that was my dad's story too. That's
wow,
crazy.
wow. And so for me, it's at a point now where this has become, an epidemic in the community.
Okay.
But if I could tell Tommy anything, number one, he got to approach it from the standpoint that your son is a grown man.
Okay.
So approaching that, he got to do it out of humility.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's the start.
And I would say the same thing. You know, but even if he does that, how I guess I'm gonna play the devil advocate
Mhm.
and how I could have been, but I wasn't. I'm 23 years old. You gone and leave when I was 5 years old. But now you trying to come back in my life. I'm doing well. What if I don't want to be a part of that? What do you say to this? And because sometimes there's a lot of anger
Right.
that grows into it. But I do want to say something. Tom, I'm gonna ask you that.
Well, again, the truth of the matter is, Tommy still got to try, but Tommy also got to understand that his son may not want it,
Right.
but you got to still try because it's what you desire. So don't fail yourself by
Gotcha.
not trying.
Okay. Okay. And that's true. But and I'm talking to you. I'm hearing your story, and I'm hearing my story, and I know some more stories. And sometimes for me, man, and I say, in my 50s now, where I am, it still hurts some kind when I really think about it. Because even Tommy, uh, your son might not, he might tell you he don't want you, but I
Yeah,
think every kid, man, at some point wants their father.
exactly,
And
exactly.
I think they want their father as much as they want their mom. But
Hmm.
with their dad is more a thing because everybody that I know, and I have friends who've been through the same thing, and we all say the same thing to some degree, man, it affects you.
Yeah, yeah,
It affects you.
yeah.
It affects you. Even though you don't want it to. And if for me, sometimes it gets sentimental just even thinking about it. Because I think it's not shown, but I think every man wants his father as much. He might not know it as he wants his mom. I
Mhm.
don't know what it is. Like it's a mother love, it's something about a mother love. I think it's something about a father love too, man.
It is.
Because I'm saying people are 50 years old, still affected. I mean, they're moving their life, but when they think about it, it gets sentimental.
Well, I think number one, first of all, you have a mother and a father that it takes to make this child. So in essence, when one is missing, it puts that child at a deficit
Okay.
anyway.
Okay.
And so we long for that. Growing up, I had to think about that. Once I became a man, and I had questions like, man, why my dad wasn't in my life?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
mother passed away, so I never got to ask her that
Oh
question.
wow. Oh wow. Oh
You know what I
wow.
mean?
Oh wow.
But at the end of the day, I think Tommy just got to take the first approach, and
I agree.
and he cannot be using excuses.
Okay.
You got to show accountability. You got to be truthful, and you just got to hope that the son has enough in his heart to allow you to come back.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay. You be Tommy. I am Tommy's son.
Okay.
What would be your words to me?
My
How would
words,
you start this conversation?
first words would be to you is that I apologize
Okay.
for not being there.
Okay. Okay.
That would be my first
Cool.
word. And then I would ask you,
Okay. Cool.
will you give me the opportunity to be in your life.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, and now knowing Tommy, I don't need you now, man. What you coming around for now? I don't need you. I don't need you. As far as I'm concerned, you can go to AT double hockey stick.
And and I'll say, son, I understand. I failed you. Again, I'm sorry.
Okay, okay,
If you even right now understand how you feel, but if you find
playing
it
that
in your
right.
heart, I'm
Okay.
always be here if you need me.
And, hey, I think you're definitely a minister. You played it to the T, and you played it right.
You got
You,
to.
you played it right, and because that's the same way I would say to him as well. Number one, I would say if I was Tommy and if my son had just responded well. Number one, if you didn't want to be bothered with me, you never would have met me. It's a reason we
Right.
met. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because you could have said no.
Yeah.
You know, and which his son might say no. He's 23. Uh, but you know what I think this a lot of this is gonna depend on the mother. Because I can't say for my mother, like you said, your mother was gone. My mother was here, but we were old school, so she never really put my dad down in front of us like that.
Hmm.
You know, we knew we could see, and that's oh man, this is gonna take me on a whole nother thing. That's what the beauty of the old school was.
Right.
Adults didn't have those kind of conversations
Hmm. In
in
front of
front of
kids.
kids. Only thing, if it was something that mama couldn't do that she needed help, she was just say, well, I'm the only one right now,
Yeah.
and I'll just do what I can.
Okay.
But these mamas today, well, I'm by myself because your dad ain't this and your dad ain't that. My daddy was an alcoholic, stayed gone, did not pay child support, but I never heard my mom say that. I never heard nobody in my family say that.
Wow. So what was there ever time? Let's push it back to Tommy. Was there ever a time to Tommy's son? Rather, was there ever a time that you wanted to be in your, I mean, wanted your dad to be in your life?
Well, for me, you know what? This is a true story, and we trying to help you, Tommy, because your son may be just like I was. I could remember when my dad was there. Like he was definitely a disciplinarian, and all my cousins. He, we were from the hood, but me and my brother were the most read students in the neighborhood. It was
Okay.
something to get done, they would come to us because my daddy definitely was an education guy. Now, when he left,
Hmm.
we just everything just went to hell because we just started doing what we wanted to do. But that's the power of a father.
Right.
Uh, but I can remember after getting out of high school, I wondered, and I see my dad. The sad part about it was my daddy was an alcoholic that lived right down to the street,
Okay.
managed Charles Disco dance club.
Okay.
So we saw him all the time. We talked, but he never would give money or nothing. I know one time we were supposed to go to Six Flags, and I was waiting for him to give some money. He had told me he would, and man, he was in the club. We knew he was in now, so me and my brother was knocking on the door. He didn't bring the money, so you know what I did? I was from the hood. I went. We had a game room. I went up to the game room, me and a couple of my partners, and we just played like we was playing the game. And we broke into the machine and got the quarters out and went to Six Flags. you know, but my dad couldn't stop that. I'm not blaming him.
Right.
But when I graduated, I want to know where did this man go wrong because I heard it was a might have been another female involved. Crazy was I went back and tracked his steps. I went and got a job at the same place he worked at,
Wow.
driving a truck company. His friends were older than me, but they became my friends, and they was telling me, "Man, you don't need to be up here driving this truck." But I wanted to know where did he go wrong because it seemed like he was just so right when we was younger, and he always helped folk. And sometimes, man, I would say, and I would say this to Tommy, what you have to just tell him to give you a chance to explain it. And that
Yeah.
alcohol is a disease, and when they get a hold to you,
Right.
you you have no control over it. It's a disease.
You can't. Yeah. And like I said, I'm like you. My father would come to town,
Okay, okay,
and my mom would let him stop by, see us, and
yep,
then he was gone.
yep. I get it.
You know.
I
And
get it.
now I'll be totally honest. I started asking the question in my 30s. Why she
Okay.
ain't never send me to my dad?
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha.
and I mean, of course, I never got that answer. But at this point in time, we have a relationship, but it's not like it could be. I've gravitated to other men who have mentored me
Gotcha.
that have served as a father figure, but that's of course by need and choice.
Right. I got you.
You know,
I got
so I think at this point, man, Tommy got to start his journey, and congratulations to being sober for
you.
5 years.
Exactly.
That's the
Exactly.
greatest
Exactly.
start because
Exactly.
now he could take that example and be something that perhaps had he not been sober,
Right.
he probably wouldn't have that ground covered already.
Right. Now I see you, Mike John. We're gonna get to you in a minute, but uh, you're right, man. You're absolutely right, and I think, man, Tommy, if you could just tell him from what Smith was saying. And here's what I found out, Smith, at 50 years old, man. And I said this on one podcast before. I living now at 50 and some things I've been through. I said, I can understand my dad better now. And what am I saying? Sometimes, man, life can throw some S at you, brother,
Yeah, yeah.
that drives you to do things you wouldn't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And before, if you're not careful, you become a slave to that thing that you tried to bring in to help you get satisfaction from the things that was really whooping you. But the thing that you went to help you get relaxation and mindset mess you up.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
life, man, and I would say to his son, if you can get him to go watch the podcast, sir, life can throw some stuff on you that you cannot, that you did not know was going to happen, you didn't expect to happen. So,
It may not recover from.
right, you're right, you're right,
You know,
you're right.
some things we've recovered from, but there are some things you may not recover from.
Right.
You know,
Awesome. Read what Mike John said, and hopefully it's something productive on that last one. Mike John, I already made him aware of you, Mike John.
He said, truth be told, Pop, you might be my daddy. You know I'm from your hometown, Greensboro, Georgia. Me and you seem to be doing great since we started communicating a couple of years ago. 50s. Man, I heard you was in your 60s.
So you are you from Greensboro, Georgia? Because you don't ever reveal yourself, but you somebody who knows. We're gonna find out who you are. And no, I'm definitely not your daddy, sir. No, no. But
you know. Let me shift this to you
okay,
because I've watched you. You got two boys,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and they're pretty successful,
Okay. Well, thank you.
and that's a plus to have grown up in certain communities and stuff like that. And again, we're not sitting here trying to act like we're perfect. We've had our devices and stuff like that.
Hmm.
With the grace of God, it did not overtake us. But at this point, man, just pointing back to Tommy and his son, like the relationship you have with your son, number one,
Well, thank you.
it's a good example, and I think you may have something to share with him. Both of them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
To the degree of how do we cross this bridge? Because there's a bridge that we got to cross to get back
You,
to.
and I won't tell the story, but just what I've tried to do, and what I would tell Tommy's son to do, and you need to get him to watch the podcast because this is what I would say to his son. If you're truly trying to get with him,
Hmm.
Smith, what I tried to do, and I reconciled with my dad. My dad is dead, but I did reconcile with him, and I've told the story on the podcast. You know, uh, but I would say to his son is whoever you are, if you want to be better than your dad, you need to reconcile. Your job is to be better
Hmm.
than your dad. So I reconciled with my dad because I said, after seeing how hard life is, I said, you know what? If something does go astray in my life, I want my sons to be able to look at me
Hmm.
and give me redemption. So I'm giving my dad redemption because life can throw some stuff at you, man. Doesn't mean that I did a post on Facebook. Sometimes you just wake up and it's just that. Ain't nothing that you did right, you did wrong.
Yeah.
It's just life.
Yeah.
So forgave my dad in hopes I'm trying to show my sons and everybody around me that forgiveness is the key.
That's it.
Now, if you want to be, you can be mad at your dad and end up being like him, or you can be better. I want to be better.
You know, one of the things Bishop Hutchins, of course, that was my mentor. He passed away. He wrote a book, Father, I Never Knew You.
Okay.
It was about
Okay.
forgiving his father
Gotcha.
that disowned him. And so I feel that because Tommy number one got to ask his son for forgiveness,
Hmm. Hmm.
got to forgive himself,
Hmm.
and then again he just gotta walk that bridge, that course to go and try to get what he's desiring.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
somewhere
Hmm.
in his son,
Hmm.
he may not say it. Somewhere his son is longing for him.
I agree. That's my whole thing.
Somewhere,
I don't care what he's saying. And Smith, I've seen it from Mike John. I don't know if you have your dad or not while you're on here talking, but I've seen every man that I know, man, who did not have a direct relationship with their father can say that some way, if they think about it long enough, it gets kind of overwhelming. It's a sensitive issue, man. And
mm,
I'm 50 years old, and it's still a sensitive issue
listen.
for me.
In my 40s, one day I was just something came over me, and I was just longing for my dad.
Yes, sir.
He lives in Quincy, Florida.
Yes, sir.
There was a storm, like a hurricane.
Oh, wow.
I got in the car.
Mm,
I drove all the way to Quincy at night. Knocked on the door.
mm,
They opened the door. I went in, and he said, "Hey, son." I said, "What's up, Pop?" He said, "Man, what you doing here?" You know what I said? I was just in the area.
I heard that. I heard that.
And here's the other thing. It wasn't even about what I was what he was supposed to give me
Mhm,
because he has a whole nother family there and children and everything. I got brothers and sisters, all that, and he's living. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying?
mhm, mhm, mhm.
But what I discovered was the little boy in me
Mhm.
needed his dad.
Yes, sir. You know, it, and we're not a biblical show, but
Right.
uh, if you think biblically, everything always
Po-
came from the Father.
Point back to the
To
father.
the
You
Father.
you you
Even your
you are-
prayers,
you yeah
your Father.
yeah
If your inheritance in the Bible, if your father was a carpenter, you were a carpenter.
yes
Everything started with the Father. It never
yeah
was the mother. Now
right
we love our mothers,
right
but
right
your existence, your being, your prosperity all started with the Father. Now they tell me, I used to hear this a lot when I was little, but you're gonna be just like your dad. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. I'm not. I'm not. But they tell me I look like my dad. They tell me I act like my dad, and they would know because
right
and now that I get old, I see it. I see it. So it's so much of him in me.
right
I'm just trying to portray the best part of him. Now, my dad would come, man, and tell me, I'm hoping we helping you because I'm telling you, son, want you. Don't give up. You
don't
just
give up
gotta approach it the right way. Be humble, like Smith said, and you gotta say it the right way. Because man, it was Christmases before my dad died. He would come every Christmas. The family would get together. That was our tradition. And Mama would still let him come over to the house, man. But my dad would sit in the corner and cry because
wow
he would see the boys.
yeah
Uh, you know, he never said a word. He never said a word, but he would show up every Christmas. And for many Christmas, I didn't give him nothing
wow wow
because I wanted to know I really didn't care. But I guess I did.
so here's the thing, let me ask you this, because was the common denominator how mom handled it or didn't handle it, or
I think it was still a level. We didn't nobody go off. I got three brothers. We just four boys, and everybody was still nice to him. And because one of my brothers would go pick him up and bring him over there because he couldn't drive. Uh, but Mama always taught us, not just Mama. In our day, we was always taught respect,
respect? Yeah.
whether you like him or not. But we respect my dad now. We
we,
just
we,
didn't.
we in this day and time, man, that's a loss.
Yeah,
That's lost
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. Mike John, what Mike John say, man? He always run that mile.
My my suggestion: pops pray and ask God to open a line of communication with his son.
Okay.
Always be available when his son is ready to talk.
That's what's
Lastly,
up, Mike.
Lastly, have an open and honest conversation about what, when, and why.
Yeah.
Then he said, I'm in the music industry just like you, Pops.
Wow.
Okay, okay. But if his son is 23 right now, I'm worried. And why am I worried?
You know what? Don't even before you
Okay, go
say it.
ahead.
Let me
Go ahead.
see if we're on the
Okay,
same page.
okay.
I'm worried too because I want to know what traumatic story has been portrayed.
Okay, okay. But I'm worried from I get that, but I'm worried from another issue.
Okay.
I'm worried his son is 23 and knowing the mental capacity
Hmm.
of the 23-year-old guys that's going around in the street now, can you talk to them? Because you can't really, how can you have that deep conversation with these knuckleheads when you can't really have a conversation with them?
Okay. But you play sports.
Yeah,
I play sports.
okay.
So although we didn't have our dads, we had coaches who still put us on the path to have really a sense of direction. Now I'm hoping
Hmm, hmm.
that his son has had some mentors or somebody who know his story that have at least tried to safeguard him for the time that will come when him and his dad need to have that conversation.
You're right. Now you just made my whole mind change directions with the whole situation. You know what I think he needs to do first? If he haven't, he needs to have a conversation with that mom.
Okay. To
And
see
just to see,
how the son
yeah,
feels.
yeah, what was projected out while I was gone.
Okay.
And usually if the mom is willing to forgive and have a conversation, then the son might be brought in because at this point the son gonna protect the mom. And if he feels like he's hurting the mom or betraying her, he's not gonna talk to him.
Definitely. You're right.
So with what you just said just
Yeah.
made me change my whole thought. He's gonna have to go back
Yeah.
and heal a lot of the hurt
Yeah.
that he caused starting with the mom to be able to get with this, hopefully to
Yeah.
be able to get with his 23-year-old son. And hopefully, like I'm saying, his son is not a 23. Uh-oh. Is that Rich Rocky? You should be on the set. What is Rich Rocky talking about?
It's a lost cause at 23. I would have told my dad, I'm good, bruh. I'm a man now. Fortunately, I had and have mine.
Okay, but you just spoke that of a 23-year-old. Now, I would ask Rich, like, is it a lost cause or is it anger at this point that displaced anger that hasn't been channeled yet?
Right.
Because
Yeah, because he sounds like he's speaking from anger.
yeah, because one day you may have your own son,
Right. Right.
and then life can come in the same aspect.
And see, this is what I was saying. Rich Rocky is young. Most of them thinking like that. Now, I want to ask the producer. Well, producer got a kid, so his perspective has probably changed. What, Smooth? What is your perspective, Huncho? What would be your perspective from if and I know you and your dad close, so you don't have it. If y'all had not been, what do you think? What do you think the son should do? Do you think we know the dad?
It's
Tommy, you doing the right thing,
that's a hard one. It's a hard one. Cause you can be willing to talk, but are they willing to accept it?
right?
And then you could look at it as far as I'm willing to talk, but am I going to talk to listen and understand, or I'm just talking so we can get this out the way. So you
Right.
got it's different perspectives you can look at it from. It's just I say it's really on the person.
But okay, and I get that. But I bet you if I were asked, and I've said it already today, your, in my opinion, would be totally different for Dale because
Definitely.
we've lived it, so
Mhm.
we know how it is to be without that constant upbringing with them. Because
You know what? You know what? Something just hit me. Watch this. For a long time, you know, I didn't talk to my dad.
okay, okay,
He didn't call me.
okay, okay,
And I can feel where the anger comes from because it's like, yo, you even reach out.
Right.
But then also again, when we get to a certain age, we're trying to put life together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mom trying to put life together, and sometimes those bridges just don't cross at that point. But I can say that I know what it feels like to have that anger of a father not really putting forth the effort. And so, really, at this point right now, if the kid is 23, we ain't talking about that part, but he has a responsibility too.
Okay.
But you just shifted my whole mindset with that too. You can look at it as we looking at it as the father not being there. You got fathers that's there that's still absent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You there physically, but you're not there.
right.
So it's all the perspective of it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
But oh boy, we run out of time. Tommy, I would just say, man, cause we running out of time. I see Rich Rocky still talking. We'll see what he said last, and then we're gonna get up out of this show.
Uh, he said I agree with Pastor Smith. He need to have a conversation, but I wouldn't be trying to hear. I'm sorry, just get straight to the point. Why we're gonna do all that? What's so important? Couldn't be here? And Mike John, age doesn't make you a man. Is there anything y'all pops could do to make up time?
I don't think it's a point of making up time.
You
I
can't.
think yeah you can't do that. I think it's a point of when you know better, you try to do better.
Yeah, when you know better, you do better. That's just
You
it.
know, and Tom, I think you're doing the right thing, but you have to be aware that just because you've come to the light
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean your 23-year-old son is ready to get on that page because he's probably gonna say, no, you don't run nothing. You don't just come in when you get ready, leave when you get ready. And I get it. I get it. He's gonna say that.
Yeah.
So your son gonna have to go through his stage in life, but you just be there.
Yeah.
You just be there and you just reach out. Don't try to force it. Just send him a text every now and then and say, hey man, just thinking about you. I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah.
And just let it go. Don't try to press the issue, but just keep reaching out, man.
That's it, man. Stay focused. Continue on your journey of sobriety, and just keep that door open. Keep that door open. That's it.
This Mike John, man.
What Mike
Hey,
John
Mike
said.
John.
He said you still on the breast milk. So
Mike John is a character,
yeah,
man. One day you got to reveal yourself, sir. If you're sir, ma'am, or whatever you are, you need to reveal yourself. Hey guys, we got to get off here. We want to thank Pastor Smith for sitting
bless you,
in
man.
for
Thank you
Rich
so
today,
much.
man. I appreciate you coming in at the last minute. You know, Rich is out with his mom. They enjoying themselves. He need a little R time out there with Rich Fit. We just thank everybody for joining in, man. Appreciate y'all. We're gonna be back next week. Hopefully, we'll get Rich in here. If not, we're gonna fire him and I'm gonna get Smith and we'll keep
Uh-oh.
on going. But Smith got his own podcast. Tell people
Yeah.
about your podcast before we
So
go.
so my podcast is going to be called Love and Relationship. We'll be dealing with just some of the stuff that we're dealing with even right now.
Where they can find you at.
We're going to be on all platforms, all social media platforms.
And give us that name one more time.
Love and Relationships.
Y'all look for that. Hey, we got to get out of here, man. Y'all look for that. Until next week, 5 o'clock, same time. I'm old school, same bad channel. See you later. Producer Ari laughing. You don't even know what I'm talking about.